drip tank. One evening, Stanley was taking some empty trucks from the Blue Mountain Quarry. He had had enough of Ryan's boasting and wanted to be friends again until he was deciding to show Ryan and Flora how good he was at handling trucks that he had forgotten to watch where he was going. Too late, he saw a branch up ahead Shen Valley. He tried to stop, but his brakes were failing. Too late, he went sliding down the hill and crashed through a branch. "Ow!" he shouted. "That hurt!" His driver checked him all over to see if he was hurt. Stanley puffed out of Shen Valley, still suffering. Soon he came back, still feeling hurt. His front was badly hurt too, and then Ryan was still fuming. "You silly engine," he said. "It was your fault not watching where you were going. I have no patience." Stanley was still cross with Ryan. That they refused to speak to each other the next day. Until that evening, Stanley came back with something interesting to ask Flora. "What is a drip?" he asked Flora. "A drip," said Flora, is something you have a hole on when it's raining," she said. "I don't think so," objected Ryan. "I heard some boy calling his friend a drip that afternoon," he said, and he thought it was funny, but his friend didn't. "That's different," interrupted Ryan, who had had enough of the long chit-chat. "Maybe you are a drip, Stanley," said Ryan crossly. "Oh, am I?" said Stanley, "when I'm trying to do something nice for you." "Pah," said Ryan. "If you hadn't have stayed out of my sight, I would be a fine sight," he said. "And I still haven't forgiven you since you've ruined my paint. So go to sleep like a sensible engine." Stanley did say so, but secretly he was still angry. He was still angrily thinking about how he should get back at Ryan. The next day later, Molly's train had been late. And Ryan was trying to make up for lost time. He went racing through Shen Valley and up the Action Canyon. He was still trying to keep up with time until there was a sudden bang. Ryan heard it already. His driver had stopped him just in time. Before Ryan realised it, his driver and fireman had bad news. Your coupling rods has broken," he said, and one of your tanks has dripped. Now we'll have to call for help." Ryan had felt embarrassed like he was before. Meanwhile at Wellsworth, Stanley was shunting some trucks when the station master came over. "Ryan has broken down and had a drip on one of his tanks," he said, "and I would like you to help." Stanley thought of this for a moment. "No," he said, "I won't. He called me a drip last night, and I won't help him." Stanley's driver was shocked. "But Stanley," he said, "what about the passengers? If you refuse to help, then the passengers and Ryan will be stuck outside in the night forever." Stanley soon forgot. "I'm sorry," he said. I forgot about the passengers. I'll help Ryan right now. And he puffed excitedly away. He had just made it to the suspension bridge. And then not long after, he found Ryan and the passengers. The passengers were happy and were glad that they weren't stuck up the mountains for long. And Stanley was also happy to see Ryan again. I'm sorry I was so rude. I was so rude to you last night, said Ryan sadly. You really helped me today, he said, and I'm also sorry that I have called you names for the last few weeks, he said. Can we be friends again? Stanley couldn't feel any more happier and was happier to agree what Ryan had said.